You ever feel like you're just running on a treadmill, working harder and harder, but financially you're kind of stuck in the same place? Well, you're definitely not alone. The legendary business philosopher Jim Rohn had a really interesting take on this. He said for most of us, it's not that we're not trying hard enough. It's that we're using the wrong strategy. So let's get into his ideas on how to stop chasing money and instead start building systems that actually bring it to you.
So what is the deal? Why does it feel like money has a mind of its own and just loves to run away no matter how much we make? According to Jim Rohn, it's because most of us are playing the wrong game entirely. See, the wealthy don't chase money. They're too busy designing structures that attract it to them.
And here's the fundamental difference. It's not about being smarter or luckier. It's all about architecture. You can either be a piece inside the system, trading your time for a paycheck, or you can be the architect who actually designs the whole thing. And believe me, that one little shift in perspective, it changes absolutely everything.
And that choice leads us right into what we can call the paycheck trap. Now, it feels safe, right? It's predictable. But it's also a cycle that puts a hard cap on your potential. Why? Because your income is chained directly to the hours you can work. And last I checked, we all only get 24 hours in a day.
Rohn once gave this just brilliant piece of advice to a guy who felt like he was constantly starting from zero. He looked at him and said, "It's because every payday you fire all your workers." Now, that might sound strange, but that one little idea can completely flip how you think about your income.
So here's how you should think about it. Every single dollar you earn is like a tiny employee. When you spend it on something, you've essentially fired it. It's gone. It's never coming back. But when you invest that dollar, you're sending that little employee out on a mission to go recruit more dollars. You're building a silent workforce that literally never stops working for you. Rohn said this one question completely changed his life. So I want you to ask yourself this, honestly. If your income completely stops the second you stop working, is money your tool or are you its tool? Breaking free from that relationship is really the first major step toward any kind of real financial freedom.
Okay, so if being stuck in the paycheck trap is the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's adopting what we're calling the architect's mindset. This is where you make that crucial shift from thinking like an employee to thinking like a designer of your own cash-flowing systems.
So what exactly is a system? It's actually pretty simple. It's any structure that generates income without you needing to be there all the time. A paycheck dies the moment you stop putting in the hours, but a system, it's designed from the ground up to keep paying you while you're sleeping, while you're on vacation, or while you're busy coming up with your next big idea.
And these systems can look like a lot of different things. Rohn loved to tell a story about a guy who owned a bunch of vending machines. That's a perfect, simple example of earning money without being physically present. But that same idea applies to a business with automated checkout, or an investment portfolio that's quietly compounding, or even a digital course that keeps selling while you're offline. The goal is always the same. Separate your time for how you earn.
Let me put it this way. A salary is a temporary fix. It solves this week's problems, this month's bills. But a well-designed system, that's a durable, long-term solution. It's about swapping your dependence for a design. And that shift creates something much bigger than just wealth. It creates lasting freedom.
All right, so understanding the philosophy is one thing, but how do you actually build these systems? Let's get practical. Let's open up the Architect's Toolkit and look at the essential tools you're going to need.
Okay, the first and honestly the most powerful tool is leverage. It's all about amplifying your efforts so you're not doing it all yourself. This means you delegate tasks to other people. You automate anything repetitive using technology, and you invest your capital, your money, into assets that work on your behalf. Remember this, your own labor can earn you a living, but it's leverage that will build you a fortune.
The second tool is what we'll call cash flow mastery. This is a huge mental shift. You have to start focusing on what you keep, not just what you make. So many people get a raise only to end up just as broke because they never learn to control where their money is going. Growth without control is just chaos. I promise you, getting clarity on your cash flow is way more powerful than just earning more.
And you know what? Something as simple as this little cash flow sheet gives you an incredible amount of power. When you actually track every dollar coming in and every dollar going out, you start to see the leaks. You see those subscriptions you forgot about, or where you're just spending wastefully. And once you see the pattern, you can fix it and start directing that leftover money toward building your systems.
And that brings us perfectly to the third tool,
reinvestment. The engine of wealth is surprisingly simple. It's the discipline to take a chunk of your cash flow and, instead of just spending it, you redirect it into assets that produce, you guessed it, more cash flow. This creates this beautiful, compounding cycle that starts to grow all by itself.
Rohn learned this quote from a wealthy mentor, and it is so true. The biggest temptation whenever you get more income is to inflate your lifestyle. You know, bigger house, fancier car. But real wealth is built by feeding your assets, not your appearances. Every single dollar you reinvest today becomes another little worker building your system for tomorrow.
So let's be clear. The end goal here isn't just about piling up a bunch of money in a bank account. It's about designing a life of real freedom, resilience, and choice, where your time, finally, is your own.
This is how you build real financial resilience. You have multiple streams of income, so you're never dependent on one job. You create systems that make money without your direct moment-to-moment involvement. This isn't just about getting rich, it's about building a financial boat that's so sturdy it stays steady even when the economic seas get really, really stormy. At the end of the day, it really boils down to this. Your own labor, your own two hands, will keep you afloat. They'll earn you a living. But it's the smart multiplication of that effort, through leverage, through systems, and through capital, that actually builds lasting wealth and finally gets you out of that trap of trading time for money. And finally, Rohn leaves us with this powerful idea to think about. Money you save grows, sure, but knowledge you share, that grows exponentially. The greatest legacy isn't just building these systems for yourself, but teaching other people how to build them too. It shifts the entire goal from accumulation to multiplication. So the real question isn't just what you'll build, but who will you empower with this knowledge?